Welcome to the National Women's Fitness Academy podcast. We're here to talk about women's health, female hormones, body image, and all things health and fitness.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Women's Fitness Academy podcast. I am one of your hosts, Elin. I'm a female empowerment coach and I help people overcome basically all things self-sabotage, like all or nothing mindset, perfectionism, binge eating, you name it. Today I'm here with an amazing woman who I have been hounding down for weeks now, trying to organize an interview with her. But when I tell you who she is, you will understand why. Because her name is Abbey. She is an online personal trainer and nutritionist, and she is currently traveling all of Asia. Well, I don't know where she's off to next, but she's been traveling for the last 3 months, I think. And yeah, when you look at her Instagram, you'll see like she is a busy woman. She isn't like me. She doesn't just stay in one place. Like I've lived in Bali for like a year now. She's gone like everywhere. So Abby, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm actually so excited for this conversation today. When you reached out in my DMs, I haven't really had an opportunity to speak about my experience in the last 3 months. A lot of people have been asking, but yeah, I'm really excited for today. So thank you.
Yeah, like I said to you as well, like I feel like this is kind of like selfish as me from to interview you too, because there's so many questions that I want to ask you about, how you got started and stuff. Because yeah, me and Abby actually connected about like 3 4 months ago or something like that. At just the start of her journey is when you just left your like safe job back in Australia and you started traveling. So yeah, can you talk us through like from take it from the start, like how did you
Start from
first get into the industry, like how you take it from the start.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take you all the way back. So I've been coaching for about 7 or 8 years now. So I'm an online coach now, but I started, face to face, and I started working in a gym. And then I opened my own personal training studio with 3 boys in 2018. So I still own part of that. That's in Melbourne, in Toorak. So it's like a boutique personal training studio. So yeah, I was doing that for 5 years through COVID and everything, but I'd always just had this like burning desire to move overseas. And like every time I'd go overseas, because I'm a big traveler as well, like I just love traveling, and I'd go overseas like 2 or 3 times a year, and I'd always call my mum and be like, I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. There
Can
has to
relate
be
to
a way that I
that.
can stay here. Yeah, exactly. And she'd be like, Abby, just come home. And then I'd come home and obviously get back into the swing of like normal life. But there was always just this like desire to move. But I had a business in Melbourne. I had a dog. I had a boyfriend. Like I was very settled, and it just didn't seem like something that was ever really going to happen. I was just like, it's just a dream. Like I kind of need to let it go because my life's in Melbourne. Like whatever, it's fine. I can just travel a few times a year. Like that'll make me happy. Um, and then I guess I broke up with my ex-partner about 2 years ago, and then I met my current partner, Tice. And yeah, about 6 months into our relationship, he was like, I'm just dying to move overseas. And I was like, oh, me too. Like, wouldn't that be the dream? And he's like, let's do it. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, let's just do it. Let's go for it. Life's short. So yeah, we just kind of started planning and then took small steps from there. And then in October, so yeah, about 2 months ago, we took the leap and moved overseas.
Wow, amazing. Well, it's so good that you could meet someone who also had the same values as you. Because I know I get messages all the time from girls who are like, oh, I'd love to move to Bali, but like my partner doesn't want to move, or like my boyfriend just really wants to be here. And yeah, so I think that's very rare to meet someone who had the same passion for travel as you, because so many people have like meet someone or they're with a partner who doesn't want to travel. And obviously if you are in a relationship, it like unless you want to do long term, then it kind of it is really difficult. So yeah, I think that's very lucky in that you have shared that same value. So I mean, it's very easy to sit in a cafe or sit at home and be like, oh, I'd love to travel and love to live overseas. But like, how did you actually take that step? Like, were you already fully online when you decided to go?
So yeah, not at all. So I think I had about 1 or 2 online clients when I was starting to, yeah, I guess, plan it all out. And I guess the first step was looking at my current contract and sort of thinking about, because I owned the personal training studio with 3 boys. I was sort of like, do I want to, I guess the first thing I had to figure out was, do I want to try and keep that share in the business, or do I want to fully, remove myself from that and take it all online? And I think that was one of the hardest decisions to make, because these boys that I've been with I've known them for like the last 10 years. They're like my family, and we had such a good, beautiful relationship. They're like my brothers that I've never had. So walking away from that was really, really hard. But I sort of knew that if I didn't, I just knew that I'd feel really stuck, and that wasn't really a reason for me to stay. So I think, first of all, I had to figure out if I wanted to try and keep that a little bit and sort of work out if I could take a little bit of that remotely. And then I actually hired a business coach. So I still work with a business coach. Her name's Hazel, and she's amazing. So I started working with her in January of this year. And then, yeah, I sat down with her and I was like, look, I've got a goal to get away in October for 9 months from now, and I need to be fully remote in order to do that. And yeah, we just worked together for 9 months and built it up. And honestly, without her, I don't think I would have been able to achieve what I have, just the strategies that she's given me and the support, which is why you see on Instagram, I harp on about how much accountability and support is so important in your health and fitness, but also just, I think, in anything, in business, in life. So yeah, we kind of work together, and I mean, it's taken a while. Like, I think it feels like it's happened quite quickly, but it was like 9 months, almost like a year of, hard work and using business strategies to sign people up and all of that sort of stuff, and showing up on Instagram every single day, even when you don't really feel like it. So that was, yeah, it's been a pretty incredible learning curve as well. But I think as well, I had a good Instagram following and like community for quite a while. So I think sort of making that transition from the floor to like fully online was a lot easier than I would have said if you didn't have that Instagram community and that Instagram sort of presence already. But in saying that, my Instagram actually did get hacked so I started it with Hazel, I think, in January, and then in March, my Instagram got hacked and I lost everything. I lost it all. So I had to actually start again, which was pretty crazy.
Oh my gosh, you weren't able to get the page back or anything?
I got it back like months later. I got it back a few weeks later, or maybe like, yeah, I'd already started this new account and it was just too far gone. So I was like, I'm just going to stick with this new one. But luckily I had a really good, I'd had Facebook pages. I had a good community of face-to-face clients already. And then I also had like an email list. So I sort of just used that and sort of built that to build it up quite quickly into what it is now. But that was a bit of a spanner in the works. But yeah, I guess, it felt like a really quick, I guess time always goes quickly. It feels like this year's gone quick, but there was a lot of steps and a lot of efforts that it did take to get me from fully in the gym floor to fully online.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, anyone who's made the transition knows that it's not just as easy as posting an offer on Instagram and be like, hey guys, I'm online now. And then like all of a sudden you have a full coaching calendar. But yeah, it definitely like having like you said, having that community definitely helps. And I think that's something that so many new coaches, or I mean like any coach really, where they go wrong and they just think like just posting offers and completely forget about the person behind, because at the end of the day, like, people buy from you because they like you. There's so many of us, millions of coaches out there. Like, what's making you so special? And obviously, people like who you are and your personality and what you stand for, and that's why they like it. That's why they buy your programs.
Yeah, 100%. And I think as well, like in business at the start of the year, when you start any journey like that, like I didn't know how to fine tune my audience. I didn't know who I was speaking to. I didn't know my target audience. I didn't know how to use messaging to, help people, become aware of your offer and all of these things. So that's why I think working with a coach and working with someone who, has expertise in like marketing, not just like Instagram or, you know, that sort of stuff has really helped me. And I've just learned so much as well on the go. And I think that's the best way to learn as well. You just got to go in and see what works and see what sticks.
Yeah.
But it's hard work. You got to show up every day when you even don't feel like it. Because I guess any coach, anyone who knows who is on Instagram, it's not just as easy, like you said, just posting and hoping that someone, you know, wants to work with you. It's a lot more than that.
Yes, there's a lot more that goes into it.
It's a lot more, yeah.
But it is really, really fun. Yeah, well, that kind of takes us into the next thing that I want to ask about. Like with traveling so much, like obviously, like people think that I travel, but I'm most of the time I'm in the same place. Like most of the time I'm in Bali. I am in Sweden right now, but I still have like very stable place where I am. So I have like my routines and stuff like that. How are you finding like posting online, like doing calls, doing check-in, stuff like that? How are you finding that and traveling?
It's I mean, I've always been someone who like loves change and I love moving around. Like even I think before in Melbourne when we hadn't moved yet, we'd like me and my partner Tice, we were running Airbnbs and we had like 3 houses between us. So we were like 1 week in one house, then we'd move to the next house. Like we were just always living out of a suitcase. So I think for that aspect, like I'm so used to hopping around and I love it and I love change. In terms of like check-ins and Wi-Fi and things like that, I haven't actually run into any issues yet. I think because we've been staying in places like Thailand and Koh Phangan, and there's a and we're in Chiang Mai at the moment. Everywhere we've been, we've had really good internet, and because I'm only in a 4 hour time zone difference to Melbourne, which is where all of my clients are, it actually works really well because we're 4 hours behind. So you know, from 9 a.m., which is 5 a.m. So I still get up at 5 a.m. And I start my work day usually until about 1 o'clock. And then I'm done. So I usually work like the 9 till 5 Melbourne, which is 5 till 1 in Thailand time. And then we use the afternoon to go to the gym and to hang out and to do all those sort of fun things. So yeah, the time difference hasn't been a problem yet, but I'm going to Mexico on Saturday. And I think that is when I'm going to run into some time difference, not issues, but it's going to be, I'm going to have to pre-warn my clients, I think, because, you know, they might message me at 9 o'clock a.m. and it might be like, I don't know what time difference it's going to be. I'll probably be sleeping. So I'm just going to have to pre-warn them. I think that there'll be a delay in getting back. But, you know, if nothing's urgent, it doesn't really matter if you take a few hours to get back to someone. So it's been fine for the most part. How do you find it?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I remember the first time when I was new into the coaching industry and I went home to Sweden. And at the time I was living in Australia and like it's a 10-hour time difference here. So it's literally like almost the next day in Australia. And right now, when I'm talking to you, it's 7 a.m. here for everyone listening. And I remember that when I first went home and I was like, oh my God, like everyone's going to hate me. Like I'm going to be so late to getting back to everyone. And I'm going to have to get up in the middle of the night to like do my check-ins. But the thing is like, you're not their mum. Like you don't want your clients to be that dependent on you that they need an answer like that. Like you want them to be self-sufficient, like that they can still solve their own problems. Like, yeah, of course, be there and support them and like help them out. But if you're constantly just talking them down from that ledge, they're not going to be self-sufficient human. They're going to become codependent on you and they're going to need you for the rest of their lives. So it's actually so good
100%.
to come here and to see that they're like, whoa, like they're actually getting better results because I'm giving them some extra time to figure things out on their own. So any tip for
100%.
new coaches?
Yeah, and I think that's something that I had to work through as well myself because I was almost feeling guilty for even the 4 hour delay from, you know, they'd message me and I wouldn't be awake yet. And I'd wake up on a Monday morning and be like, I need to quickly get back to all of my clients who messaged me, you know, and I was just like, Abby, it's okay. Just set some boundaries. Just communicate to them that you will be 4 hours behind and that you might take some time in getting back to them and they're not going to be fretting out and worrying like so it hasn't been an issue. I think you always work it up to be something so much worse in your head than it is, but it just takes a bit of communication like anything in life and it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Most people are completely fine with it. Cool. Oh my gosh, Mexico next. So Well, first of all, tell us like all the places that you've been already. Like obviously you're in Thailand right now, but you've been other countries as well, right?
Yeah, so basically our goal is to be able to stay in Thailand. We love Thailand. If anyone listening has not been to Thailand, it is the best country ever. Like it's just so good. The food's amazing. It's warm. We haven't been here yet when it's been really, really hot, but we started in Koh Phangan.
Mm.
Um and the most amazing island. Everyone thinks that Koh Phangan is like this full moon party island, but there's a side to Koh Phangan that's really beautiful. It's relaxing. It's kind of like hippie. There's great gyms. You can do Muay Thai. Like it's just beautiful. And there's amazing restaurants. So we loved Koh Phangan. So we were there for a month. Um, and then we decided that we wanted, because our goal is to just sort of move to Thailand. So we're like, we better go and have a look around and see what else is good if we like any other area. So then we went to Bangkok for a bit. And then we went to Koh Chang, which is on the other side. And then we went to Koh Kud. If anyone has been to any of these places as well, we were kind of like island hopping. Koh Kud is like, it's on the other side of Thailand, the other side of the Gulf. That was one of our favorite islands as well. It's really beautiful, but it's really small. So if you just want like a really chill holiday, just like there's not much happening there, just like lie on the beach with pina colada type holidays, that's definitely Koh Kud. Highly recommend. Koh Chang was very strange. It was a very strange place that there's a lot of abandoned hotels and like abandoned, I think before COVID hit, a lot of things were being set up and then COVID hit and they ran out of money and just never went back to all of these like hotels and restaurants and things. So it's kind of like an eerie, weird vibe. Wouldn't recommend Koh Chang so much. And now we're in Chiang Mai, which is like unbelievable. It's so good. It's a city up north in Thailand, so it's not beachy, but it's not hectic. It's got everything you need. It's got gyms, it's got co-working spaces, amazing food. It's awesome. So highly recommend. Yeah, I highly recommend Chiang Mai if anyone is thinking of working remotely and wanting to, travel and check out Thailand. And Koh Phangan have definitely been my favorite for
Mm.
sure. Have you been to Thailand at all?
Yeah. I think I've been
Yeah.
3 times.
Oh wow. Yeah, beautiful.
I do when I first moved to Australia, I did like a 6 month stint of traveling in Southeast Asia. So I've spent like about a month and a half, I think, in Thailand. And yeah, I
Awesome.
loved Chiang Mai as well. It was one of my absolute favorite places. Like it was just,
Mm.
I think a lot of people look at Thailand and like you said, like they just want to go to the islands and the film and parties and stuff. And yeah, like that's super fun as well. But Chiang Mai was just so gorgeous and like the jungle, and it was just like so much more peaceful. And
Mm.
yeah, I felt like you could really see like the proper Thailand there, like not just like, yeah, of course it's touristy as well, but it was a lot easier to access like the jungle or like the other villages and stuff like that, which I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And we actually did a visa run because in Thailand you're only allowed to be here. We can only get 60-day visas at a
Mm,
time.
mm.
But they don't make it easy to get visas in Thailand long term. So we had to do a
Ah,
visa run to
same,
Laos. So
Bali.
we yeah. So we did a visa run. Yeah, anyone thinking of working remotely, definitely look at the visa options
Hmm.
because it's as great as it is to be here, it is, if we're thinking long term, it's going to be very annoying to have to like hop to another country and do like a quick visa run. But we went to Laos 2 weeks ago, which was amazing as well. So we went to Luang Prabang. Highly recommend that as well. It was a beautiful, beautiful country and really cool city. And yeah, I mean, we don't do much other than working remotely and just sort of exploring, but it was really cool. The food is great. And yeah, they've got this beautiful river, I think it's the Mekong River, straight in the middle of the town.
Mm.
Yeah, we loved Laos as well. It was really cool.
Wow. Well, and when I'm looking at your Instagram, you also have another Instagram called Fit Nomads, I think it is.
Mm, yeah.
And like you're staying at some gorgeous places. Like when I was backpacking, I stayed for like $2 a night. Like I was just like the cheaper the better. So it was like a hole in the wall for a shower, like no lock on the door. Like there was no way I could have afforded anything that you where you're staying. But like the places you stay, like they are gorgeous. Like the one the other day with like a bed coming out of the room, like outside, like oh, I was like, whoa. How do you find all these places? Yeah, like how do you find them all?
So TikTok.
Oh, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
we are TikTok fiends. We love TikTok. And yeah, so we did actually a lot of our planning for where we were going to stay before we left
Oh, okay.
to go to Thailand. Yeah, so we had a really rough idea. We didn't know we didn't book everything, but we had a really rough idea and booked in these main places. So we booked in that beautiful place you would have seen with the bed rolling out like
Mm.
months ago. And then the week before that, we were in the hills of Chiang Mai at a place called the Cloud, which
Oh,
was
yes, saw
that
that as
beautiful
well.
place that you saw
Mm.
with the clouds and everything. So we actually booked them when we were in Melbourne, and we were like, okay, we'll use them as our base, and then we'll go between and have this sort of rough plan. But our goal, I mean, we paid for all of them. Our goal is to try and we wanted to try and make a I guess a fit nomads, I guess what do you call it when you become not influencers, but we wanted to try and get like free accommodation places. So we
Mm.
started Fit Nomads to try and
As you should.
get some content, get
Mm.
some content up so that we could get some free accommodation in a couple of places. It hasn't worked yet, but actually, it's actually really funny. So we've got a TikTok with a few more followers. That's where it kind of all started. And we got an email the other day from the Mornington Peninsula asking us if we wanted to come and stay for a couple of nights and explore and post about it on TikTok.
Real.
Um, so finally worked, but just not in the right country.
Yeah. No, it is a
That's
process though.
okay.
And I think people also think that you just stay everywhere for free and it's just like, oh yeah, once you post about something, like you got it for free. And like, no, it's actually quite hard to get.
No, I didn't. Yeah, exactly. We worked hard for this. No, but
Yeah.
yeah, our goal is we've got an Instagram and a TikTok. Our goal was to try and, build it up so that we could travel and do all of that sort of stuff for free, I guess.
Mm.
It still is the goal, but like creating content is really time consuming as well. When we're both, running businesses, and my partner Tice is still working 9 to 5. So it's been a lot harder to build than we thought.
Mm.
But it's also just a really good way to keep our parents and our friends up to date with what we're doing. So that's why we also share on that page as well.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. How long have you been traveling for now?
So we left on October 1st. So we go, yeah, it's nearly been 3 months, and it's
Yeah,
actually gone so quickly. It's crazy.
so quickly, so quickly. So if you look back at these 3 months, is there anything that you wish that you would have done differently? Like anything that you're like, oh shit, I wish I knew that before I went.
Um, in terms of like, oh, I don't know. Not really. I'm a big planner. Like I really like to forward plan and think ahead. So there wasn't anything, like always, I guess if you're traveling, always suss out if it's got good Wi-Fi, suss out if you need visas,
Mm.
suss out all of that stuff. But no, honestly, living in Thailand has just been so easy. We haven't had any hiccups. We haven't been sick either, which is quite yeah, I guess I was expecting that one of us would get food poisoning or one of us would be, sort of sick like that, but that hasn't happened yet, which I've been quite surprised by. Um, but no, honestly, everything's run very smoothly, touch wood.
Oh, that's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, but I guess, if you're going to dive into an experience like this, and if you're thinking of moving overseas, you've just got to be open to everything, I
Mm.
think. Open to saying yes to new things. I guess the hardest thing that maybe has been something that we're both going through at the moment is just not having met many people. Um,
Mm.
we haven't really had the chance to meet other like digital nomads or anything like that, and we've just been together for like 90 days straight. Which was actually we were laughing about it last night. We haven't spent a second away, like every night, every day, every lunch, every meal. It's just been us for 90 days straight, which yeah, it's been really interesting. But that's one way to, get to know someone as well. So it's been fun.
Yeah, Jesus, it's really a good way to test a relationship to see if it's going to work or not.
Mm, 100% throw you in the deep end every single day. Yeah. But we were laughing about it too. We haven't had one argument, which
Wow,
has been, yeah, really interesting as well.
that's crazy. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are wondering, like, what does your partner do for work to be able to travel like you do?
Yeah, so he is a consultant and environmental engineer. So he works for a company in Melbourne that helps businesses reach their zero net target gas emissions. But he's actually finishing up on Friday. So he only got 3 months approved to work remotely. And they said that he couldn't stay any longer. So he is, yeah, I guess out of a job on Friday. He's been looking for other jobs, and there's a couple of things that he's working on at the moment. But yeah, so that's also something that we're sort of managing and going through at the moment, is trying to find him a stable income so that we can stay over here as long as we can.
Yeah, wow. I mean, there are so many roles that you can do online now, so I'm sure there won't be a problem. And yeah, for anyone listening and like, oh, we could never do my job online, like ask. Like a lot of employers, like
Mm.
the people I meet in Bali, I'm like, wow, you can do that online. And you know, most jobs you can do remotely. Like most jobs, you don't actually have to sit in an office. And especially because most of you girls listening, you live in Australia, and places like Bali, Thailand, like Asia in general, they only have like a few hour difference in the time zone. So it's a great step, especially if you want to start traveling, like go somewhere that's a bit closer to first, and then obviously now you're going to Mexico, which is going to be a bit more time zone is going to be a bit more different, but it's such a good way to start off when you just have those few hours different.
100%. And I think, like you said, just ask, because like I said at the start of the episode, when I was working in the studio with my
Mm.
three business partners, I was so afraid to ask for, I was so afraid to tell them what I wanted to do. I was so afraid to say that, guys, I really want to go overseas and follow my dream. It actually like tell them for like 3 months, because I was so nervous that they would be like, nah, see you later, you're out, we're getting rid of you, we don't want you part of the business anymore. Like, and you know, I just had a really honest conversation with them, and I told them what I wanted, and we came, you know, it wasn't like the easiest, it was some hard negotiations, but at the end goal, they were so supportive, and they
Mm.
were like, you got to do what you got to do, we'll work it out. And in the end, you know, I've now created an online like social media role, so I'm still part of the business. But just having that conversation and just telling them all honestly, like if you have a goal and if you have a dream that you want to be able to work remotely somewhere, absolutely just ask and have the conversation, because 9 out of 10 times, you know, you're probably working up the situation and the conversation in your head to be this big, bad, scary thing, but it never is. So there's just no harm in asking and just, yeah, going for it, because it always works out as well.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And like, otherwise, you're going to go into the office every day and be like, oh, what if I asked? Like, you don't know what's going to happen for you and how amazing your life could actually turn out. So,
Exactly. And some businesses might just be like with Tice, they just let him go for 3 months, and
mm.
then, you know, he was supposed to come back. But, you know, so your business or your your company, yeah, sorry, your company, they might have some sort of thing where you can go for a couple of months and come back, and then at
Mm,
least you get a little feel for it. Yeah,
mm,
I'd highly recommend looking into it, and definitely don't be scared of just having a conversation. And then if they say no, you can be like, okay, well, I tried.
mm. Yeah,
Um, yeah.
for sure. So now you're going to Mexico. I am super jealous. I really want to go Mexico, like that part of the world. Like I would love to go to Colombia. I'd love to go like travel all of that part. So what's the plan there? How long are you going to stay in Mexico? Like where else are you going to go?
Yeah, so we've actually got a really, really big year coming up. So we're going on Saturday, we go to Mexico for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I think. So we're going to have a bit of chill time, because we've been working quite hard the past 3 months. So we're going to have a little bit of downtime. We're just going to surf. We're going to Mexico City and Puerto Escondido. And
Amazing.
then we are going to Colombia for a month.
Mm.
Um, so we're going to do that. I've never been there either, so that's going to be really great. I've got a couple of friends who are actually there, so we're going to meet some friends, but we'll still be working, you know, through the whole time. And then I think the plan is Costa Rica and then also Guatemala. So going back up, so sort of flying down and then going back up all through those countries all of February. And then we come back to Thailand in March. So we've got another month in Thailand in March, and then we're going to India because my partner is half Indian. He's half Indian. So we're going to go spend Easter there. And then we come back to Thailand to hopefully settle for about 4 or 5 months. And then we go to Europe for 6 weeks. And
Holy
then we go
crap.
back to yeah. And then we go back to Australia for a wedding, and then we don't know. So we literally, I think we've got up until September planned, and we're just hopping around the world. That's our
Unreal.
plan. Yeah,
Unreal.
and then back to Australia to settle, not to settle, just for a wedding, and then we don't really know where we're gonna try and settle in Thailand, like I said, but just depends on visas and things like that as well.
Yeah, of course. So I
Yeah.
I would love to go to Colombia. But I've done some like research online and stuff about that it is a little bit dangerous, but same with like Mexico City as well. Is that something that ever plays on your mind that it's like, oh, this country's a bit unsafe?
Yeah, it's definitely something I think about, but I think,
Mm.
I've done so much traveling in my life, and I think every country, there's always, you could go to America and it's unsafe with guns. Like
Mm.
you can go to Australia and walk down the wrong street and be there at the wrong time and something happen, and, wrong place, wrong time. And I think if you keep your wits about you and you know maybe some dodgy areas to avoid before you go, and if just don't go out late at night by yourself, and don't, go out and maybe wear all your personal jewelry where, people can see it. So I think you just need to be really smart. You can be a smart traveler, because yes, places like Mexico and places like Colombia, they can be really dangerous. But for the most part, if you're sticking into touristy areas
Mm.
where there's lots of people, and you're being really smart and not, doing things that are going to put you in danger, it's so fine.
Mm. Yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to watching you in Colombia. Like, oh, I was just sitting the other day, just reading all about it and how you can go and how you can travel there, and even as a solo traveler. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know much about it. So that's the first place that I haven't yet been, because I've been to Thailand before and I've been to Mexico. So this is going to be the first one that, yeah, I've never been before, which will be really cool.
Super exciting. Do you know have any
Yeah.
plans to come to Bali?
Not yet. No. We actually, on our way back from the wedding in September, we were maybe thinking of going to Raja Ampat. Have you been there?
No, but it's on my list. Yeah, it looks gorgeous. But also you don't know, it's
You've heard of it?
yeah, like Indonesia has so many islands, guys. It's not just Bali.
Mm.
Even though Bali is like the most popular, but that's the island that you just, I can't even pronounce it. So well done. But it looks gorgeous. It kind of like when I looked at it, I was like, wow, it looks like the Maldives or something, because it's just like little tiny little islands, like it's staying in little huts on the
Yeah.
water, like super, super cool. So yeah, no, definitely go there. Then I can just
Yeah.
tag along and do everything else that you've done.
Yeah, exactly. Whereabouts in Bali are you?
So I'm in Chengdu at the moment, which is
Yeah.
basically like the digital nomad hub of the world. But yeah, like what you said about like meeting friends and stuff like that, like I can imagine it will be super hard to make real connections with when you are constantly on the go, just from just
Mm.
someone who is in a spot, and I'm in the same spot all the time, or I mean I travel around, but like my base is in Chengdu, and I just know from when people approach me in the gym, or when people like message me and stuff like that, and they're only there for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Like, this isn't to be rude or anything like this. It's just to protect my own personal boundaries. That if you're constantly just putting in effort, making friends with people, making connections, and then they just leave, like it becomes really hard. And I did that at the
Mm.
start, and I made so many amazing friends, and then it just got too hard to constantly be saying goodbye to people and try and keep contact through Instagram and trying to like message them and stuff like that. It was just so draining. So now I've kind of had to set boundaries. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're not going to be here long term, then I'm not going to invest my time in trying to make a connection and get to know you, because it's just too hard when people leave.
Yeah, totally fair. Yeah, I can understand that completely. And I guess I'm on the other side of that. I
Mm.
am the one hopping around all the
Yes,
time. And
yes,
two, for us,
exactly.
like it's really hard to make friends as well, because you meet someone one night and then it's like, all right, we'll see you never, see you later.
Yes.
Um, but I haven't yet. I know there's lots of like Facebook pages and communities and things that you can
Mm.
jump on and meet some people. So I think next year, when we're settled in Thailand for the 4-month, 5-month stint, I think definitely I might look into, yeah, putting a bit more effort into making some new friends, because yeah, I think that's super important. Super, super important.
Oh God, yeah, 100%, 100%. And I'm sure you will as well. Like once you kind of settle into one place, it becomes so much easier. Um, I remember when I was backpacking,
Mm.
like we used to run into the same people, like at every, not every place, but like so many times we go to like Thailand and then we go to Laos and be like, oh my God, like are you here as well? Or like Vietnam and just run into some random people that we met before at some pub. Does that ever happen to you that you run into other travelers?
Yeah, so we actually, I didn't know them, but Tice, we were in a gym in Koh Phangan maybe at the end of October. So we'd been there for about 3 weeks and we were in the gym and Tice ran into this guy, Mitch, that he knew. So funny, back from Melbourne, they used to, hang out all the time. And Mitch was there with his girlfriend. And they were doing the same thing as us. So they just left Melbourne and they were just hopping around and trying to figure out what they, trying to move overseas, didn't know where to go, was the same thing as us. So yeah, we caught up with them for a coffee. But unfortunately they were flying out like that night. So we just missed them. But
Oh,
I ended up getting like really friendly with the girl and we still chat and we still jump on Zooms and catch up because we're sort of doing the exact same thing.
mm.
And also don't have, anyone else, I guess, with us in the same city. So that was really lovely. But yeah, other than that, we haven't run into anyone yet. I don't know why, because Thailand's such a great place, but
Mm.
yeah, hopefully.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
no.
I think next year as well, when we're more settled, we're gonna have like a place where our friends can come over and meet us and stay as well, which would be great.
Yeah, for sure. But I love what you're doing, like just over Zoom, like connecting with your friends and stuff. And that's something that like I've started doing in the last year as well, that, start jumping on Zooms with people that I know on Instagram or like having, regular voice notes and talking to them on Instagram. And
Mm,
I think for any online coach, that it can be quite a lonely job. And even though I live in such a like digital nomad hub place, like sometimes it does still get lonely. Like when you are just on your own because you're the only one in your business and you're the only one who really like sometimes it's really nice to have other people who are in the same boat as you and they know like what it feels like to sign like your first client or like when you launch a new offer and then you're so scared that no one's going to buy and then someone does and you're like, oh my God. And like your normal friends who are not coaches, they're kind of like, okay.
yeah.
They don't get it. So it is nice. Like
It's honestly, yeah, it's
anyone who
so
is
true.
an
Like I
online
launched,
coach, yeah, definitely reach out to
yeah.
other key people, like even if it is just on social media, because we all get it. Like we're in the same boat.
Mm. It's so true. Like, I guess I've just made the transition and I used to be face to face 8 hours a day, talking to people, talking to people, talking to people. And then you jump online and there's such a difference and it can be really quite lonely. Like, I feel like if I, didn't have Tice here as well to connect with, it would be a very lonely place. So I love that. Definitely reach out. There should be some sort of community where we can all rally together and all have Zooms and just catch up.
Yeah, honestly, that would be so fun.
Yeah, I
Well,
agree.
Abby, it's been so nice to talk to you, and you've
Yeah,
definitely
thank
sparked
you.
the travel bug in me. Like even like last week, Mum was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just like Googling like Cambodia and like Colombia this next year. Like I want to start traveling again." So this has really like lit my fire, and yeah, next year I will be doing some traveling. But if people
Absolutely love
wanna
that.
find you, like, can they work with you? Like, are you taking on clients right now? Yeah, plug yourself,
Yeah,
plug all your
absolutely.
socials.
Plug, plug, plug. So my Instagram handle is Abby J. So ABBY J_PT. I had to think about that for a
We'll
second.
link them in the show
Um,
notes anyway.
yeah, we'll link them in the show notes, link them below, just in case I got that wrong. But yes, taking on clients, always, always, always taking on clients. And yeah, slide into my DMs. Always happy to have a chat or just jump onto a Zoom call and have a chat as well. But yeah, I guess for anyone, any coach or anyone who is listening and it might be afraid, to take the leap and to move overseas, even if you're by yourself, my word of advice is just go for it because life is so short and you just never know, what's going to happen. You never know who you're going to meet. You don't know what opportunities you're going to run into or meet. And I think the last thing you want to is look back on your life and regret something that you could have done. So just know that even if you do take the leap and you do go for it and it doesn't work out, then at least you've tried, and then you know, and you can sort of, move past that. But my advice is absolutely go for it, because you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Yeah, 100%. And there's so many cool places in the world that I haven't
So
seen.
many.
It feels
And yeah, and it's awesome now that we're so lucky that we've got this opportunity to work remotely and to be able to travel and see the world. Like our parents never had that. So just go for it and use it. And yeah, that's all I can say. Just do it. It's the best. It's the best. It's so fun.
Yeah. No, it definitely can be hard at the start, and like to find your routines and what works for you. But honestly, like it is the best thing that you'll ever do. You'll grow so much as a person, like your business will grow with you. And yeah, like you'll just see that there's just so much more to see than just Australia. Like there's a whole other world out there, different cultures, different people, different way of doing things. It's just amazing. Yeah. I can't wait to do some more traveling next year.
Yeah, love that so much. Come to Thailand. We can hang out.
Yes, I will. I definitely, when I go back up north again, I thought, like, seeing your photos and stuff from Chiang Mai, I was like, oh, I would love to go
Yeah.
back there.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So good.
All right. Well, thank you again so much for coming on.
Beautiful.
And everyone who's listened, you know the drill by now. Please make sure you do take a screenshot, you share it on your stories, you tag me, tag Women's Business Academy, God, my words today, and tag Abbey as well, of course. And make sure that you tell us what you thought about the podcast, if it was helpful, and slide into Abby's DMs for any coaching or any travel inquiries. But Abby, have a beautiful rest of the day, and everyone else, I will speak to you soon. Bye.
Thanks so much for having me. Bye.